A single decision by Connor McDavid has sent shockwaves through the NHL. As the league's most electrifying player approaches the end of his contract, experts say the league could lose up to $1 billion if McDavid leaves or waits too long. This isn't just about one player. It's about the economic ripple effects that could redefine the league's future. Connor McDavid plays for the Edmonton Oilers. He is the captain of the team and one of the best hockey players in the world. His current contract is for 8 years. He signed it back in 2017. The deal is worth $100 million total. That means he gets paid $12.5 million every year. His contract will end after the 2025-26 hockey season. Right now, he has not said if he will stay with the Oilers. He has not signed a new contract. This is what people call contract uncertainty. When a star player like McDavid does not make a decision, it can make teams and fans feel unsure. The NHL makes money from many things: tickets, TV, clothing, and more. Star players help bring in that money. When a big name like Connor McDavid might leave or change teams, it can change how people spend money. It can change how other teams make their plans too. If McDavid decides to leave or takes too long to decide, the NHL could lose a lot of money. Experts say the league could lose $1 billion. That money includes ticket sales, TV rights, player deals, and jersey sales. That's because McDavid brings in lots of fans. People come to see him play. He is the face of the Oilers. He is also a big part of NHL advertising. The NHL is planning to raise the salary cap in the next few years. The salary cap is how much money each team is allowed to spend on its players. Right now, teams can only spend so much each season. But by the 2026-27 season, the salary cap could go up to $104 million. In 2027-2028, it might be as high as $113.5 million. Under league rules, one player can be paid up to 20% of the team's salary cap. If the cap goes up, McDavid could earn more than $20 million per season. That would make him the highest paid player in NHL history. This means every team that wants McDavid needs to think about money. A lot of money. Teams would have to give him a very large contract. That could make it hard to pay other good players on the same team. Teams want to win, but they also need to be smart about their budgets. Right now, teams are watching McDavid closely. They want to know what he plans to do, but he has not said anything yet. That silence is making some teams worried. Other teams are making plans just in case he becomes a free agent. A free agent is a player who is allowed to sign with any team. If McDavid becomes a free agent, there could be a bidding war. That means different teams would offer him huge deals to try to get him. Those deals would also raise how much other star players are paid. So it's not just about McDavid. It could change how all teams spend their money. Connor McDavid is not just a great player. He's also very important to the NHL's image. He helps the league get more viewers. He helps sell merchandise. Kids look up to him. When he plays in big games, more people watch. In the 2025 playoffs, McDavid had 26 points in just 16 games. That means he scored and assisted more than one time per game. That shows he is still at the top of his game. His performance helps the Oilers win. And when they win, fans get excited. That excitement leads to more money for the team and the league. If McDavid leaves Edmonton, the Oilers could lose fans. People in the city might stop buying tickets or gear. TV ratings could go down too. And if he goes to a team in a smaller market, that could hurt the NHL's national reach. The NHL depends on big stars to draw crowds. That's why the league is paying close attention. So are business people and news outlets. Some people have said the NHL could lose $1 billion if McDavid's decision goes the wrong way. That number includes many things. It includes player salaries, money from TV, deals with brands, tickets, and more. It's not just about McDavid's paycheck. It's about the total value that changes if he leaves the Oilers or takes too long to decide. The Oilers know they want to keep him. Jeff Jackson, the CEO of the team, said, "Connor McDavid is everything to this organization." That quote came from an interview with NHL.com. He also said that McDavid is not just a great player, he is a great leader and example for others. But knowing that isn't enough. The team still has to make a deal that works for McDavid and fits the new salary cap. And McDavid has to want to stay. So far, there is no sign of what he will do, and that silence is creating a big problem for the NHL. As each month passes, the cost of waiting could go up. The NHL has faced money problems before. In 2020, the league lost money during the COVID-19 shutdowns. Now, it is finally growing again. If McDavid's free agency causes more money issues, the NHL's growth could slow down again. TV companies are also watching. If McDavid changes teams, they may need to change schedules. Some cities get more TV games when stars play there. If McDavid moves, it changes the TV market too. The NHL's plans for the future could be affected. Big changes like this can shift how the league grows. It could change how teams plan, how players sign contracts, and how money flows into the game. Right now, every choice matters. McDavid is a superstar. What he does next may decide how much money the league makes or loses.
Canada, oh Canada, our home and brave land.
That's not really close.
An all-Canadian final.
Oh my goodness.
And the Stanley Cup champion, the Edmonton.
Charles Barkley just dropped the boldest NHL prediction of 2025, and hockey fans can't stop talking about it. He's calling for an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final between the Leafs and Oilers. But the real shocker, he capped it off by singing "Oh Canada" live on TV. Sir Charles doesn't just think a Canadian team will end the 32-year Cup drought. He's betting on a historic all-Canadian showdown that hasn't happened since 1989. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Sorry about the tariffs, but y'all going to get us back with a Stanley Cup victory. Barkley belted out after picking the Oilers to win it all, proving once again that his hockey enthusiasm far exceeds his singing ability. What makes Barkley's prediction so fascinating isn't just the outcome. It's how seriously he approached the entire playoff bracket. This wasn't some random celebrity making wild guesses. Barkley went through every series methodically, showing surprising knowledge about player injuries, goaltending situations, and even coaching matchups. He knew Jason Robertson was out for Dallas. He referenced John Cooper's coaching record. He praised Vasilevsky as the hot goalie. The Basketball Hall of Famer clearly watches hockey and watches it closely. In the Eastern Conference, Barkley picked Toronto to defeat Ottawa in the Battle of Ontario first round, giving a special shout-out to my man Austin Matthews, Scottsdale, Arizona. He then boldly predicted the Leafs would take down the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round, something they failed to do in previous playoff meetings. This is their year, Barkley insisted, dismissing concerns about Toronto's long history of playoff disappointments. No Canadian team has won a Stanley Cup in 32 years. On the other side of the bracket, Barkley showed respect for Alex Ovechkin's record-breaking season by advancing Washington past Montreal. Shout out to the greatest goal scorer ever, Ovechkin breaking the record this year of the greatest high score ever, Wayne Gretzky. Congratulations, Mr. Ovechkin, Barkley said while predicting the Capitals to beat the Canadiens. He also picked Carolina over New Jersey, noting that the Devils are really banged up right now, showing he's paying attention to current team conditions heading into the playoffs. In the Western Conference, Barkley went with Winnipeg over St. Louis in the first round, despite acknowledging the Blues' impressive 14-game winning streak. Winnipeg won the President's Trophy, Barkley explained, before adding with hockey fan wisdom, that usually means absolutely nothing in our tournament. Perhaps most impressively, Barkley knew the Kings-Oilers matchup was happening for the fourth year in a row, and that Edmonton had won each previous meeting. He confidently picked McDavid and Draisaitl to advance again. Kings are the best home team in hockey. That doesn't matter. Oilers got McDavid and my man Leon Draisaitl, two of the best players in the world. For his Final Four, Barkley set up the Leafs versus Capitals in the East and Oilers versus Avalanche in the West, before shocking his co-hosts by predicting the Edmonton-Toronto All-Canadian Final. His reasoning for picking Edmonton to win it all actually follows a pattern from recent Cup champions. 2 years ago, the Florida Panthers lost, came back and won it. Oilers lost last year. They're going to come back and win it this year. Same scenario. While Barkley's sports predictions are famous for being hit or miss, he did correctly guarantee the Boston Celtics would win the NBA championship last season. However, his March Madness prediction that Arizona would make the Final Four fell short when Duke eliminated them in the Sweet 16. What makes this prediction stand out isn't just that it's coming from a basketball legend. It's that it represents real hope for Canadian hockey fans who've been waiting since 1993 for the Cup to return north of the border. And not just hope for one team, but potentially a dream scenario where two Canadian teams battle for hockey's ultimate prize. The 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs have already begun, but before a single game was played, Charles Barkley managed to create one of the boldest predictions of the postseason. Whether he's right or wrong, one thing is certain: his enthusiasm for hockey is genuine, his knowledge is impressive, and his singing, well, let's just say we should all be grateful he stuck with basketball. For Canadian hockey fans desperately hoping to see Lord Stanley return home after more than 3 decades, Barkley's prediction offers a tantalizing vision. Connor McDavid finally hoisting the cup, an all-Canadian final, and hockey's most prestigious trophy returning to its spiritual home. As Barkley puts it, that's ridiculous, but in the best possible way.
This might be the most dangerous version of the Leafs we've seen in 20 years. The Toronto Maple Leafs are entering the Stanley Cup playoffs with something they haven't had in years: legitimate momentum and belief. After securing the Atlantic Division title for the first time in a traditional 82-game season since 2000, this team suddenly looks dangerous and ready. Goaltending, often Toronto's greatest question mark, has transformed into their greatest strength. Anthony Stolarz has been sensational with 3 shutouts in his last 4 games, giving the Leafs the type of netminder who can steal a playoff series. Both of our goalies have played extremely well this year and given our team confidence night in and night out, said head coach Craig Berube, whose impact on the team's structure has been undeniable since taking over. Under Berube's leadership, Toronto has developed the great and defensive structure that was missing in previous playoff runs. They're no longer just an offensive juggernaut. They can win the ugly games that playoff hockey demands. The stars are peaking too. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner both hit the 100-point milestone in the same season, with Matthews feeding Marner for his milestone and vice versa, showcasing the chemistry that makes them so dangerous. Now, the Battle of Ontario returns as Toronto faces Ottawa in the first round. The provincial rivalry that once defined Canadian hockey in the early 2000s gets a modern reboot. It's a good one for sure, Berube said about the matchup. That's a very good team over there. They play a gritty game. It'll be a tough series. The team's depth has improved dramatically, with Matthew Knies emerging as Berube's biggest surprise. The growth from training camp throughout the season, how he's grown as a player, I'm not sure I pictured that, Berube admitted. Even better news: key defensemen Jake McCabe and Oliver Ekman-Larsson appear ready for Game 1. When asked about their status, Berube expressed confidence. "I think they're all in pretty good shape, so I feel pretty good about it." Despite 7 straight first-round exits hanging over the franchise, there's something undeniably different about this year's approach. Berube refuses to even acknowledge the past disappointments, stating firmly, "I don't talk to them about it. It's in the past. I'm focused on going forward." That forward-looking mentality has created a quiet confidence around the team. Division champions, goal scorers, shutdown defenders, elite goaltending, and a coach who knows what it takes to win it all. The Battle of Ontario returns. Craig Berube's Atlantic Division champions are ready. The Stanley Cup journey begins now.
Able to move, Tavares scores! A beauty for John Tavares! And the Leafs strike.
Incredible milestone night. John Tavares reaches 1,100 points as the Maple Leafs outlast the Rangers in thrilling Madison Square Garden showdown. Have you ever dreamed of joining the greatest players in hockey history? That's exactly what happened to John Tavares on Thursday night at one of the most famous arenas in the world, Madison Square Garden in New York City. The Toronto Maple Leafs captain had a night he'll never forget, scoring 2 goals and adding an assist to reach 1,100 points in his amazing NHL career. That's like scoring a goal or helping a teammate score in every single game for more than 13 years straight. When you reach a big number like 1,100 points, it means you've been playing at an incredibly high level for a very long time, said hockey expert Sam Johnson. Only the very best players ever reached that mark. The Maple Leafs needed every bit of Tavares' magic too, as they battled to a nail-biting 4-3 victory over the New York Rangers. The win was Toronto's third in a row, helping them keep pace in the super tight Atlantic Division race. The action started in the first period when Tavares gave Toronto an early lead. Racing down the ice on a rush, he fired a perfect one-timer from the left face-off circle that zoomed past Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin. Jake McCabe made the perfect pass, while William Nylander started the play and earned his 600th NHL assist. But the Rangers weren't going to just roll over. With less than a minute left in the first period, Will Borgen tied the game 1-1 with a shot that somehow snuck through Maple Leafs goalie Anthony Stolarz. Just when it looked like the period would end tied, Bobby McMahon tipped in a shot from McCabe with only 10 seconds left. The Maple Leafs took a 2-1 lead to the locker room, and the Rangers fans couldn't believe it. Getting a goal in the final seconds of a period is like finding an extra present on Christmas morning, explained former player Mike Wilson. It gives your team a huge boost of energy and excitement. The Rangers came out flying in the second period. Their superstar Artemi Panarin, known as the Breadman because his last name sounds like Panera, a type of bread, tied the game just 1:22 into the period. He grabbed a rebound and fired it home, making it 2-2 and sending the New York crowd into a frenzy. But this was Tavares' night to shine. Just a few minutes later, he scored his second goal of the game and the 1,100th point of his career. Standing in the right circle, he pounced on a rebound from another McCabe shot and buried it behind Shesterkin. The Maple Leafs bench erupted in celebration, knowing their captain had just joined an exclusive club of only 8 active NHL players with 1,100 or more points. I remember watching John Tavares when I was a kid, said teammate Matthew Nays. And now I'm on the ice when he reaches this amazing milestone. It's something I'll tell my kids about someday. Nees would have more to tell those future kids because he scored Toronto's 4th goal midway through the second period. After Rangers defenders Andre Miller and Adam Fox couldn't connect on a simple pass, Nylander snatched the puck, circled behind the net, and found Nees wide open. He fired it into the net, giving Toronto a 4-2 lead. The Rangers weren't done fighting though. With just 35 seconds left in the game, Chris Kreider tipped in a shot from Panarin to make it 4-3. The Garden was rocking as the Rangers desperately tried to tie the game, but Anthony Stolarz and the Maple Leafs held strong. When the final buzzer sounded, Toronto had earned a huge road win and their 3rd straight victory. The Rangers, meanwhile, lost their 3rd game in a row and remain outside the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. This is how playoff hockey feels, said Maple Leafs coach Craig Berube. Every shift matters. Every play can change the game. I'm proud of how our guys battled tonight. For Tavares, the milestone was sweet, but the win was even better. Individual achievements are nice, but winning as a team is what really matters, he said with a smile. We're playing good hockey at the right time of year. As for the Rangers, they'll need to turn things around quickly if they want to make the playoffs. We showed we can play with one of the best teams in the league, said Rangers captain Jacob Trouba. But we need to start turning these close games into wins. So remember kids, no matter if you're just starting to play hockey or dreaming of the NHL, with enough hard work and dedication, maybe someday you'll join John Tavares in the 1,100 point club.
Gloves are off. This is reminiscent of the old days.
The big boys have come to play.
McDavid's!
Remember the Winnipeg Jets from a couple months ago? The team that was the toast of the NHL, sitting on top of the standings looking like an unstoppable force with the best goaltender in the league? Yeah, that same team just got steamrolled in the first round of the playoffs by the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. Not exactly the storybook-ending Jets fans were hoping for after one of the most dominant regular seasons in franchise history. So what the hell happened? How does a team go from potentially winning the President's Trophy to getting bounced in the first round? Let's take a deeper look at the collapse of the Winnipeg Jets and try to make sense of this playoff disaster. First, let's remember just how good this Jets team was in the regular season. At the All-Star break, Winnipeg was 32-9-5, good for 69 points in just 46 games. They were on pace for 123 points, which would have been the best in franchise history by a country mile. Connor Hellebuyck was putting up video game numbers with a .925 save percentage and multiple shutouts. This team looked like they were built for a deep playoff run. The defense was suffocating, the offense was clicking, and the special teams were humming. Remember that power play? It was a thing of beauty, with Nikolai Ehlers and Mark Scheifele running that near-perfect 1-3-1 formation, shifting positions to create those cross-ice one-timers that goalies had no chance on. The penalty kill was just as good, with players willing to sacrifice their bodies to block shots and keep Hellebuyck's workload manageable. And that's what made this team so damn impressive. They didn't rely solely on Hellebuyck to win games. They had that balanced attack with Gabriel Velarde emerging as a legitimate top 6 forward. The young guys like Cole Perfetti were taking the next step, and vets like Adam Lowry were playing the best hockey of their careers. But if we're being honest with ourselves, there were warning signs heading into the playoffs. After that blistering first half, the Jets went 19-16-3 the rest of the way. That's essentially a .500 hockey team, which isn't going to scare anybody in the playoffs. The offense, which looked so dynamic early in the season, dried up. In their final 20 regular season games, the Jets averaged just 2.65 goals per game, which would rank 25th in the league over a full season. Players who were carrying the mail earlier in the year disappeared. Kyle Connor's shooting percentage plummeted. Ehlers cooled off. Suddenly, those creative zone entries that had penalty killers spinning weren't working anymore. Defensively, the team was still solid. Dylan DeMello and Josh Morrissey were still playing at a high level, but the depth pieces started showing cracks. Teams were finding ways to expose the more defensively challenged blue liners like Neil Pionk in ways they weren't earlier in the season. And then there was the matter of their record against top teams, against Colorado, Dallas, and Vegas, the cream of the crop in the West. The Jets went a combined 4-8-1 in the regular season. Not exactly inspiring confidence for a potential playoff matchup. When the playoffs rolled around, we all wondered which Jets team would show up, the world beaters from the first half or the mediocre squad from the second half. Unfortunately for Winnipeg fans, it was the latter. Game 1 gave false hope. The Jets came out flying, won 7-6 in a wild back-and-forth affair that had Rick Bowness looking like he was about to have a heart attack on the bench. But even in victory, the warning signs were there. Hellebuyck giving up 6 goals? That's not the recipe for playoff success. Then the wheels fell off. 4 straight losses, each more depressing than the last. The Avalanche exposed every weakness the Jets had and created some new ones along the way. First, they absolutely neutralized Winnipeg's forecheck. Remember that aggressive F1 and F2 pressure that created so many turnovers in the regular season? Colorado's mobile defensemen made that look like a pee-wee strategy. Cale Makar and Devin Toews were breaking the puck out with ease, making the Jets forwards look like they were skating in quicksand. Then there was the matter of the special teams. That once lethal Jets power play went an abysmal 2 for 18 in the series. A success rate of 11.1% isn't going to cut it in the playoffs.